want people to have come and enjoyed it. I want people to have come and felt passionate and felt educated and informed. That's why we do the show.
What's better than an event focusing on the built environment? Okay, there are quite a few things that are better than that, but I'm thinking of an event that focuses on the built environment and new technology. Yes, I am, of course, talking about DCW, Digital Construction Week. As we are only a few days away from DCW, I'm delighted to get Ollie Hughes back on the podcast. Ollie featured in episode 15 when discussing tech adoption within the construction industry. The link, as ever, is in the show notes. But now he's back on to tell us a little bit more about the event he co-founded and grew into one of the leading events for professionals within construction and technology. Super quick note before we get on to today's episode with Ollie is that I will actually be podcasting live at Digital Construction Week. So get yourself down, register. The link is in the show notes as ever, and look forward to seeing you there. Ollie, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks very much for having me. Obviously, the first one didn't go so badly that I'm never welcome back. So this is lovely to be on again. A return visit here as well.
We won't tell everybody that the last one was a disaster. Episode 15 was a disaster, and we've decided to do a bit of a rerun just to make up for it. No, we'll skirt under that, and no. Honestly, welcome back. Delighted to have you back on.
Appreciate it.
Right, let's get cool. Let's get straight into it. Digital Construction Week. We're nearly there. How's everything going? Where are you up to?
Yeah, good. Yeah, we're super close. So we are. I mean, we're next week, so it's kind of rolled around pretty quickly. So we are about set pretty much for opening the doors. The big work really in terms of putting the show together happens next week. So build up we have on Monday and Tuesday, and that is where an empty space in Excel goes from floor and some chalk marks on the ground into, best part of, I think it's sort of 14,000 square meters alongside Geo Business worth of stands, theatres, lounges, coffee shops, all the rest of it. So we're looking forward to that. It's always quite a hectic scene, I have to say. So hopefully our exhibitors are nice and relaxed. And if I see you on Wednesday, we'll be there with coffee and a smiley face. But we're looking really good.
So you're the one that does all the stand building and you sort out everybody's stand and roll the carpets out, and you do everything, don't you? Yourself, I mean, personally.
Yeah, personally. No, used to. When we first launched back in 2015, it wasn't far from it. I remember hanging banners from balustrades with cable ties and doing a bit of everything, to be honest. Fortunately now, so we were acquired by Diversified Communications, who are just a brilliant event organizer based down in Brighton. So now we've got a full, not that we didn't have a proper team, but we've got a full team and it's well resourced and it's grown kind of year on year with the show. So as organizers, we have an operations department that manages a lot of that. We work with a lot of suppliers and partners who do the kind of the laying of the carpet. I kind of go around afterwards and check where it's rumpled up, and that's about my input there as far as that's concerned now.
Brilliant, fantastic. Get the iron out on the floor.
Get
the creases out.
I always think about it when you walk around the show, because you've got these contractors and everything else that have done just an amazing job overnight, in some instances. And like I say, it's gone from a concrete floor into what it is. And then someone like me walks around and goes, carpet's been out of place there. That light socket quite right? They are very gracious, but I can imagine they are less impressed under their breath for sure.
Absolutely.
But we're good. So that's the kind of the physicality of it. We've got a great registration, so we're looking for about 10% up this year, which isn't too bad.
Brilliant.
Equates to 500-600 more people in the room, which would be brilliant.
Oh, amazing.
Loads of really cool features, some amazing exhibitors, some cool partnerships. Now, if I'm honest, we're kind of looking forward to getting it all underway and welcoming everyone in.
get going. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's changed from last year then?
Yeah, so we've got, I mean, the big change always is the content program. So we have always been, I guess, content first. You know, we've got an amazing exhibition with some really brilliant and innovative exhibitors, and they contribute to the program as well.
Mm.
And the sessions, we have 10, 11 theatres with sessions running back to back. So that is the big change each year, is the content that we're running, the speakers, the session types. So that will always change. We've got some amazing new exhibitors as well, who we won't have had before. So people doing all sorts from, as you'll imagine, AI is probably quite a big one this year, but
Yeah.
we've got some robotics and drones companies and people doing some amazing things with software. So we've got some brilliant exhibitors that you won't have seen before as well, which is great, along with a lot of the kind of usual suspects that you would, come to see, who have got, new ideas, new products, new offerings, and a smattering of kind of fun and games on the stand as well. So there's loads around that. We've worked on a couple of feature areas that are slightly different. So one that I'm excited and what's the word for it? Not nervous, but nervous for. Interested to see how it pans out is our table talks feature.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the sessions that we have across the show are single or double speakers standing in front of PowerPoint and presenting. And they're presenting some amazing ideas and some fantastic topics and being super thought-provoking. But for an audience, I guess it's fairly passive. There's an opportunity for Q&A, but it's pretty rushed. The next speaker is ready to come on pretty quickly.
Okay.
And some of the feedback that we've had is that, people like to be more involved in some of the discussions and have a chance to share their thoughts and opinions and challenge and question. But also, our attendees are top of their game, and have got a huge amount to contribute, whether they're on stage or not. So the idea of table talks is to offer a forum where attendees can get involved effectively in a series of roundtable debates and discussions. So it would be a nice feature area up at the top of the hall that will have 3, they won't be round, but round tables that seat kind of 10, 12, 15 people. And we're running a series of different debates. So we're partnering up with HSC, Connected Places Catapult, GS1 are doing some sessions, the CTEC Club. And the idea is that as a visitor, you can come, listen, share your thoughts, share your opinions, and get involved really in pushing the industry forward. So it's going to be a very different dynamic to what we're used to. But I'm hoping that it should be something that we can build on. And next year, it won't be 3 tables, it'll be more, and we can change the way we do content. So that's one that's a bit different. We've got a robot demo zone, which is kind of developed out of some of the work that we've done with Hexagons and Spot, the Boston Dynamics dog. In previous years, where if you've been, you'll have seen it roaming around a kind of technical craft type area, I guess. So we're building that out. We've offered it out to a few other exhibitors who've got some great innovative products. So people like HP Siteprint are going to do some live demos. We'll have some scanning. We've got a drone cage, so we'll be able to see some drones flying up and down. So that will be really cool, bit of theatre. And then we've got a food truck this year. Cool. One of the bits of feedback always is we want to keep people in the show hall, seeing stuff, but also they want to get fed and watered. So we've got an amazing London food truck and catering team called Nazari, who'll be up in the top corner of the show hall, and that'll be a kind of village green type of area where you can get food, grab a seat, have a bit of networking, and spend a bit of time there. So there's a few bits there. Whole new raft of startups in the startup village, another 10 companies there. We've got a shared main stage with Geo Business this year. So for those that don't know, Geo Business sits alongside DCW, and Geo Business is all location data, mapping, surveying. It's everything really that kind of connects built environment to natural world, really. So there's a really good those the 2 shows. And in previous years, they've both had their own main stage and kind of covered some similar topics, right? Digital twins, a prime example. None of that works without understanding where in the world a building exists or, what's going to have an impact and effect on it. And we were running 2 different sessions on digital twins for a slightly different audience whilst ignoring the other one that was the other side of the fence. So we've got a main stage this year where actually those sessions are going to be joined up, and we'll talk about what it looks like across the whole, from that initial kind of mapping piece all the way through to development, operation, everything else. So that should be really exciting. We should see a real mix of those two audiences as well this year.
Super.
And then probably abundance more, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
check out the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great page as well in there.
I'm looking forward to it personally. I'll be doing a bit of podcasting. Delighted to be partnering with you on that. Obviously, apart from what I'm doing and what I bring to the whole exhibition or event, should I say, not exhibition, event, what are you looking forward to?
Do you know what? What I'm really looking for, personally, it's kind of seeing the work and effort that goes in over a year. When we first started running the event, people would say, "So what do you do for the rest of the year?" And when it's just the 2 days, and really it's 12 months of kind of putting it all together, and that's from everything from a sales perspective, getting the exhibitors in, getting the right exhibitors, making sure they're looked after, engaging with them. The content program is just mammoth. Our call for speakers, we had over 500 submissions this year, and we had to whittle it down to about 160 selected, which is a tough job. And I love seeing that call for speakers because it gives you a real insight into what's going on in the industry. And I get to see probably, I think, more firsthand in a lot of ways than some people doing it, what's going on across the breadth of the industry, because we've been doing it since 2015, 2016. And the content and the expertise and what people are trying and what people are doing is leaps and bounds ahead of that sort of 9 years ago when we first started. So I love seeing that, but it makes it a real hard challenge because, the fact is we've said no to a lot of really great sessions, a lot of really great people doing some amazing work. And that is always the worst email I have to send, is that one where I go, "I'm really sorry, but we've not chosen you." And it's, woe is me, but it's hard and it's getting harder. So it's as I say, the exhibitors, the program, it's all of the logistics around, the supplier side of things and the back, everything that goes into it. It's a full year effort, really. And there's an amazing team that we work with in our marketing, sales, ops, everything else. So the big bit for me is getting to see all of that come together. It's amazing. I mentioned it at the top of the chat, from an empty shed hall into what the show is. It's amazing to see. And then also getting to meet people in person. And I think more so that post-COVID, beforehand, my role really was going out, meeting people, grabbing coffees, getting half an hour face-to-face wherever you can. And the reality is I don't think a lot of us do that now. I think, the nature is a lot more Teams calls because it's quicker, it's more efficient, everything else. So to actually get to see people that we've been talking to all year, that have been supporting the show, that have, been sharing what they've been up to, that's the bit that's really exciting for me, is to get to see that in real life, in colour. And hopefully that's events for people generally. I think, harping on about COVID, Jesus, it's hopefully well behind us. But I think probably there's a bit of event fatigue for a lot of people. And actually, I think this offers a real opportunity for people to come together, to network, to learn, to have a good time, as well. We're doing networking drinks on the Tuesday night. We do drinks on the show floor. It's all about booze. There's coffee mornings. There's all sorts of networking events. But actually an opportunity for people to come together and meet in person, I just think is a whole other proposition to behind a computer. So that's the exciting bit, seeing it all come together. For me, the team that are working on the show, something that's been my baby really since we launched it, and seeing their hard work getting rewarded, I guess that's the reward really, is seeing that. That's what I'm looking forward to, and meeting up with old and new faces and hopefully getting to have a good time. I haven't done it yet. I haven't managed to kind of relax and not do everything.
For sure.
Be able to get a bit of a breather at least for an hour or two.
I can imagine it's there's a certain irony in the fact that it's Digital Construction Week, and it's all about people, which is great. You know, it's great to hear and great to understand, and the fact that you're having round tables and getting more discussions and more people networking and talking, coffee mornings and a bit of booze or whatever takes people's flavour is fantastic. That aside, what would be the best way for people to get involved? You know, what as an organizer, um, what would you advise people to do when visiting? Obviously, talk to people, but what would you advise them to do?
So, shameless plug incoming. Download the app.
Yeah.
So you'll have an email in your inboxes with a link to download the app for DCW and for Geo Business. But in there, you will have all of the programs. So there is 11 stages in DCW. There's 6 in Geo Business. Well, it's a lot of content. We do a printed guide back to the whole. It's semi-ironic that it's a digital show, but sometimes it's easier, and I think that's just due to the
Yeah, for
weight of
sure.
content. We're limiting how many we print, so we will get to a point maybe next year or the year after where there's only 5 available, and maybe there'll be golden ticket. So we're reducing
Yeah.
the amount year from a kind of sustainability, but also kind of shifting
Mm,
behaviors around it. But download the app. You can go through on the train on the way there, or having a coffee in the morning, and you can create your own schedule. And that would be my first
that's
point: is
cool.
there is so many different sessions to see,
Mm,
you will quickly run out of time. So cherry pick the ones you want to see, because in the meantime, between the stages, you're going to see an exhibitor with something amazing that you want to stop and see, or you're going to meet a colleague or a client or someone that you want to stop and have a chat with. So download the app, plan your day. You can also then trawl through the exhibitors and pick out, who you most want to see. That would be my first step. The second is exactly like you say, talk to people. I
mm,
think one of the really special bits about Digital Construction Week is it's a product of its community, right? Like, we had a
hmm
huge amount of support from a lot smarter, I think I probably said this on the last episode, smarter people than me. And the feedback has always been that it's a place where people can come together, meet, ask questions, get some answers, challenge things. I think get involved. I think
hmm
is probably the biggest bit. If you're in a session, stick your hand up, ask a question if you've got one. We always tell the speakers to hang back as well after they finish their session. So
That's
if
cool.
you're not feeling up for putting your hand up, grab them as they come off stage. They will be expecting it. Obviously politely and form an orderly queue. But we always say that because that's some of the best bits, because we don't have time for 15-minute Q&As because the program's so
Mm,
packed. But the speakers are there, they're sharing their information, they're up for being up on stage and speaking to people. So certainly take the time to do that, and explore a bit as well. I'm saying download the app and plan your day, but give yourself time just to see what's new. Walk the
mm,
exhibition, see who is there that's different that you might not have heard of before, and ask them some questions, and learn. Keep an eye out for additional activities. Get on social media. There'll be plenty of posts about coffee mornings, meetups, evening drinks, all of that kind of stuff. Um, and enjoy it. Hopefully, I've always wanted it to be a show that's fun in as much
yeah,
as
yeah,
possible.
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
I think we tick that box in some
Uh,
ways.
I think you do that. You do that really well. I really enjoyed last year. I thought it was really really good. It was just the right size, and you got to talk to people. And the thing that I found really interesting was that the majority of people that I spoke to, which was a fair few, they were really passionate about what they did and engaged with you, which is really cool to see. My final question for you here, Ollie, before we wrap up. It's quite a brief one, really, but um, not even 2 weeks from now. Say a week, but
Mm.
I've got it down here as 2 weeks, so let's class it as 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, what will good look like for you?
So there's the obvious, as an event organizer's KPIs, right? Like, it's people through the door. It's happy exhibitors. We have like NPS scores. We do surveys, all of that.
Mm,
but really, I want people to have come and enjoyed it. You know, I want people to have come and felt passionate and felt educated and informed. You know, that's why we do the show. When I launched it back in 2015, you know, my big ambition was to be part of something that I was passionate about, that I cared about, in an industry that, you know, has a huge opportunity to do some amazing, well, and are doing amazing things, but can do that powered by all this amazing technology and innovation that's around. And that's what I want it for. You know, I kind of, if we're 10% up on attendees, it's kind of nothing if people haven't come and gotten something out of the event. That's what I really want. I want people to come, be informed, enjoy it, it to be a representation of all the hard work that the people that are speaking, exhibiting, attending put in. And that really is the kind of the joy for me out of it. The KPIs keep me in a job and keep me a salary, so I'm not gonna
yeah, absolutely. But for you personally,
I get a huge amount of joy out of the show and doing something in some way to support industry and support change, because it's something I'm really passionate about. So that's the key. And then we're straight on to planning for the next year.
Just about to say 2 weeks time. What does good look like for 2 weeks time? Planning the next one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and we'll be 10 years old next year, so it'll be our 10th anniversary edition. So
fantastic.
I'm sure I'll be tapping people up for some photos from the first show and some sort of war stories and stuff like that. And then in addition, straight into Digital Construction North, which Peter obviously on the steering group for. That's taking place 13th of November up at Manchester Central, and will be a one-day, more regionally focused, you know, version, I guess, of DCW in London. So we'll be looking forward to that, and the awards in July, right at the beginning of July as well. So the shortlist is out for that at the moment. So busy is probably what the 2 weeks after will look
2 weeks,
like.
Great, fantastic. I thought you were going to say pina coladas and beach somewhere and stuff like that.
Fingers crossed for that. Yeah, we used to pre-diversified when it was Luke and myself, that the two founders running it. It was always in October, and Christmas would just be. You'd work for a month afterwards to try and get everything in place, and then Christmas would just be shut down physically, mentally, emotionally. Hopefully a bit of summer holiday, but straight back into it.
Ollie, thank you so much once again for joining me. The first person to be on Construction Disrupted 2 times, and rightly so. Hopefully in 2 weeks' time, you'll be doing what you said you'd be doing and carrying on with Digital Construction Week for the 10th year. If anyone's popping down, please do so. If you see myself, grab me a coffee. If you see Ollie, make sure he's all calm and chilled, but grab him a coffee also. And just thank you for coming back on. I know it's going to be an amazing show. And I really appreciate, like most of the industry does, your time and effort and hard work that goes into it. So thanks again.
Peter, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and for being on twice. It's a record I'll take. And please do come down, join us. And as Peter said, he'll be recording podcasts live at the show, so pop along there as well and have a look. Look forward to seeing you next week.